Aloha from Hawaii. We are tuning into another game, another Gala Games, another Townstar edition, and we are in 16 days left of this. About 16 days left of this. Don't mind my mouse, and it keeps on saying that my camera is experiencing technical difficulties, problems. Right now it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, Hawaii time. It might be later in where you're at. However, I want to go over we're about midway. We're in the midway mark, so about 16 days left, about halfway through. Hopefully your town is doing well. Hopefully you're doing well, enjoying the experience, enjoying learning. And I start out on low. I always keep it on low so that my computer doesn't require a lot of energy output to run this system, this monstrosity of a system that we are running. So as you can see, if you're just tuning in for the first time, or this is a second time, or you follow, always be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on what you think and how you like these videos. And if you have any information, ideas to make it better, make the town better, make your lives better. Right now, like I said, I haven't done much. My name is Jesse, and we are going to experience some things together. 16 days left. We've already experienced something. So I'm on the second. We'll show where we're at. We are in, let's go to the ranking. We are in the 29th spot. So my goal was the top 50, and then it was the top 30, and now it's the top 20. So as you can see, I'm in top 29. I broke 30 about a day and a half ago, and I have not moved from the 29th spot in over a day and a half. It has been stuck where it's at. What does that mean? That I've met my plateau. I'm at my plateau, and these people we're pretty much even. So as you can see, the towns that where I'm at, that's pretty much where I'm at, and that's the plateau. So in order to move forward, I have to look at my numbers and try to increase the productivity and think outside the box to kind of get them, because we're all running pretty much the same platform. Obviously, if you go up to the first place, they're 26 million, so they may have converted their town to something else, like a grapery or grape selling. So I haven't looked into that too much, but you can see that they're 26, 22, 21, and you can do this on your own if you're a beginner, if you're seasoned or not. And right there, push the wrong button, go back to that, the top 10. And this is what I kind of compare it to. Like I said, I do not spend all day out here doing this Townstar, doing this Gala Games. I let the computer, I let the technology run itself. I check in once in a while like a manager should, like a professional should. I do not do this every day, every minute of the day. I have a lot of other projects that I'm working on. So if this is something that you like to do where you don't have to spend all day doing, this is a perfect town for you. You can learn a lot of different things. So if I was to look at the top 20, 10 million is where I'm trying to get at, 10 million. And right now I'm at 8 million. So we haven't moved in a day and a half. So all these people in the top 30 are pretty much even. They're all moving at the same pace. You know, one little hiccup, and this is like the Olympics that just kind of happened. One little mistake can change the outcome, and we have 16 days left of this. So there's my little dog, Doggy Dog, which is symbolic because Snoop Doggy Dog, if you haven't been following, is now on Gala Games, and he's, I want to give some updates too, not just Townstar, but as you can see, my script is working just fine. We are selling cakes. Oh, all right. Let's see how the cakes do. So I changed a few things. We'll talk about Snoop Dogg in a second. I changed a few things. There goes my cakes, my 10 cakes. So it takes about 4 seconds. Over here, you can see about 4 seconds for that boat. Back when I had the depot car, it took about 19 to 20 seconds. So this boat really cuts down the time in half, what it was originally when I first started this town. So we'll see where we're at. That gave me a little bit. It didn't even touch, didn't even move. Look at that. Oh my gosh. 29. So maybe sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the algorithms to catch up to see where you're at. I've noticed you can collect your town coin, collect that for the day if you want to, if you have NFTs. And we're looking at a lot of good different things for town coin, possibly moving up in the near future. There's a lot. Gala Universe is definitely one of those things to watch out for. Where the Gala Universe is going into. So before we talk about Snoop Dogg and get sidetracked all on what's going on, I want to make sure that this is kind of a short but concise and easy to follow type tutorial for those beginners and for people that's still doing this. So with this over here, I still keep a tracker. You can look at one of my old videos that I posted prior, and I have a cheat sheet. You can go to Interconnected Creations. I have that PDF file that you can download. You can print off. You can do digital works to track your output, your hourly, your daily, weekly output. And it's based off a formula of tens. So you count to 10, you track this 10 times, and then you do an average of those 10 to see where you're at. So I just did this. And, and to show you kind of an outline on where I'm at. So the last time that I tracked this, so I tracked this, January 27th, 29th, the 30th, and then February. And my last track took about 7 days to actually annotate because it hasn't moved, and I've been pretty busy, and the town has been functioning pretty well. So I haven't had to move too much. And then I looked at where I'm at. I haven't moved in a day and a half. So how do I want to move forward? Do I want to try to get the algorithm right? And moving any little thing here when we're in the top 29, top 30, top 50, top 100, wherever you're at, doing one little change here in your town can have dramatic effect, catastrophic effects. So right now, don't take this as a grain of salt because I just reset my computer, turned it on. It was kind of slow, boggy. I have a lot of mining going on, some mining going on, and some other projects going on at the same time. So that's, it takes a lot of memory. It takes a lot of energy for those other programs to run. So this is not accurate, but they produced a couple cakes and it gave this algorithm. So within an hour or two, it should go back down to 5. I'm hoping a little bit above 5. So my last, we can't really track this because I just started it back up. But my last one before I did the reset a few minutes ago was 5 cakes an hour, 67 salts an hour, 78 flours an hour, 80 sugars an hour, 57 milks an hour, and butters 29, batters 14, and then eggs 39, and then wheat 1014. So looking at it now, like I said, you can't really take these to heart because it takes a while for this algorithm to catch up, for the workers to catch back up to the actual state. So I would say if you're going to use that paperwork that I have on my website, Interconnected, you just go to the digital portion on the bottom lower portion. There's PDF files that you can download for the Gala games, as well as videos you can watch on other things, the digital world, AR, VR, and other things that I'm into. So download this, print it off, and that's what I do. I print it off, and then I fill up 10 on a page, and then I average it out. And then that average really gives me, so the average that I was looking for out of those 10 was 5.42 cakes. And the biggest discrepancy that I saw was the flour, the sugar, the milk, and the eggs. So the milk and the eggs are always going to be the hardest things for me to figure out. Those were down pretty significantly when I made a few changes here and there. And the problem when you don't annotate it, you don't track it, you forget. Days later, you do a couple more, and then you do a couple more. Before you know it, you're all out of whack. But that gives me a baseline. So as long as I'm shooting for 5 cakes, 5 to 5.5 cakes, 6 cakes was a high. That's what I'm shooting for. And then I shoot for the butter and the batter, and I look for those because those will tell me where my milk, where my eggs, and where my wheat and my flour and my sugar and my salt kind of are at. So if I'm not making enough cakes, then I'm not making enough butter. If I'm not making enough batter, then it's held up in one of these areas. So that's what I kind of look for. And as you can tell, they're kind of slowing down a little bit for whatever reason. So you can just change this to medium quality if it slows down, if you want to get optimum performance. And the thing about this is if they're going, oh my God, I'm full on that. Look at that. I might have to flush it. So I did one change, and I just started this back up. So I can flush that because I don't need all of them salts. So possibly in the future I can change that. change one of the salts. But right now what I'm doing is I just made a big change where I turned on my chicken and I turned on my cow, my milk, this barn, and then I turned on this feeders. So these two feeders were off, this chicken was off, and this cow was turned off for pretty much the whole duration. I would go back and forth, turn them on when I needed productivity, turn them off when I didn't. Originally I had this feeder off, but then I realized that it would take these people a lot longer to go to point A, you know, and then point B if this one was turned on and it was full. And so I turned this one off. So if this one is full, they just go back and forth and it cuts down their time dramatically. So I started turning these off instead of turning these off, the ones that are closer to the silo. So if these are off, they don't have that far to go. If these are on and they're full, they just go back to the silo. It cuts down their time by seconds, which doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, it makes everything kind of flow a lot easier for me. So as you can see, it's going to self-adjust, self-correct on the numbers on the side in about a half hour, 45 minutes at least. But generally when I first start this up, I don't look at the numbers anymore until about an hour, 2 hours to 6 hours after it's been flowing, maybe a day even, to see how it operates, And that's kind of how the townstar is. I haven't changed anything, demolished anything. I was looking at creating a grape town, starting some grapes possibly to see, and looking on YouTube at some of the people that have done it before to see if I can convert this and how long it would take. Because it takes a lot of revenue, a lot of money to convert a town. So would it be beneficial to, say, convert it? And would I lose rankings as a result? Or could I keep doing those things and keep the ranking and move forward? So as you can see, I got enough fuel, 35 fuel. I keep that above 30. I try to keep above 20. I don't lose any sleep over this. I wake up in the morning, I go to bed at night. I make sure, so this is the biggest thing, is make sure that you got enough fuel, that you're not backed up. There's a few times where I ran out of fuel or I ran out of petroleum. I had some oil and I would have to quick make some before the silo or the stores or everybody got overworked. It hasn't been too bad. The biggest thing is just make sure that if you're going to go somewhere, I like to go somewhere and make sure that I'm full above 30, 35, max. And then they're making petroleum. So if you're making gas, fuel, and then you forget to turn back on the petroleum when you're done, and you forget to do that, and you're making gas, fuel, and there's no more fuel to be made, all you have to do is go back and make petroleum. So every time that you can see that there's nothing to be made, it's full, it's maxed out. So he can go back, stop that, and I can make some fuel. So all he's going to do is make some gasoline. The biggest thing, like I said, is remembering when he's done making petroleum before you leave for the day or before something happens, I change that back to petroleum. So when you come back, you can just switch back to gasoline, make some gasoline. And that's been pretty effective for me. Some of the updates, you might be excited, you might know, you might listen to the same people I listen to. So Gala Games, I'm on Gala Games. If you're on Discord, go to the Discord and make sure that you're a member of the community. They started a new Gala music, so sign up for that. And Snoop Doggy Dog, like I said, I got Snoop Doggy Dog. I got my little doggy emoji. This is my late great Angel, my mom's dog, that I made a gift, a little emoji in remembrance of it. And Snoop Doggy Dog, he's a dog father. They call him the dog father. He is on Gala Games now. So if you go to Discord, there's a lot of updates on it. And one of them is Snoop Dogg Stash boxes on sale now. Pick up yours in the first hour, and you also get a special edition spider tank. So there's a lot of incentives. And then the Gala Music is open. Welcome to Gala Music. Set up your wallet now so you can buy a music node. The process takes about 2 to 3 minutes. So that's something that I got to do, create, figure out, understand. Gala Music is changing the industry. Own the sound waves you can't stop listening to, and do it with the best community in the Gala verse. So make sure that you sign up. It's called the Gala Music. It's on the Discord Gala channel, so you can sign up and you can like it. Make sure to like it so that you're a member and you get all the latest updates if you want. those updates. And I can say, especially from a copyright standpoint, from me working on different platforms with augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, in the digital realm, that copyright infringements and making sure that it's. I was working on a project the last 48 hours and watermarking and making sure that it's copy protected in this digital realm. So created a watermark. You can look at some of my information online if you want some of that information, if you want some of that news, if you'd like your own watermarks, your own creations to patent your own work. That's kind of what the world is moving into. So as we're further moving into, the Snoop Doggy Dogg is really the dog father and really taking the reins on what this world is capable of, and opening up his album on Gala is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. You get everyone who buys a Snoop NFT in the first hour gets one of those spider tanks, and it looks really cool. This was a few days ago, so it's already past that, but it's a lot of good information, and it's pretty cool. I still got to watch the video where they were talking on it. He also acquired the Death Row Records brand, the label where he made his debut. For just $5,000, you can own one Snoop Dogg song on the blockchain. So the reason that this is important is that if you own the song, you can get royalties from those songs. You can lend them out. If you look at the old school libraries, that's kind of what you're doing. You are the librarian. You are the owner of the library. You are the owner of the song, and you can lend it out. You can sell it. You can get royalties on it. You own it. And as we move forward, the internet of old, where it's accessible to those that don't have this information, this knowledge, this art, won't be able to get it unless you have it, and unless you are able to get it to them. So that's what I wanted to do today, was to go over some of that information. As you can see, the Gala games. I don't have much to say. It's going to be really short, like I said, 17 minutes. If you have any information on this stuff, any questions, any ideas where this can be better for you, if you're enjoying this, if you want to look at my town, I'm on server 2, I believe. Yep, play to earn server 2. So if you don't know, this is a server. It took me a while when I first started. Play to earn, this is your server number 2. There's about 4 of them. Leaderboard. And I learned this from watching a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of the people that are really involved in this, embedded in this. And placing your town is key to this Gala metaverse that you're going to be stuck in, surrounded in, for 29 days and visiting. So getting familiarized with this and understanding the different areas, different terrains, like what this area here is, a mountain, the benefits of having a town in around the mountains. The only thing that I've noticed that can surpass the cakes are up in the mountains. So if you have something but then you have to deal with transportation, getting to a metropolis area, because the closest one would be there. And this is a really primal space. One of the spaces that's really good because you're close to the mountains. You got optimal kind of growing conditions. It's not as green can be, but it's not bad because you're by the water, you're by the city, and it takes seconds. You can see some of these people, these boats going straight to, and I don't know the time frame for them, but it shouldn't take that long if they're by boat. So knowing where you want to set up before you start is key. When I first started, I just set up wherever I could. As you can tell, this one is pretty open on the inner areas. You can set up anywhere on those. Like I said, this server 2 is desert. If you want to set up the browns, those are the deserts. Dry conditions. So the biggest thing about the deserts, there's not a lot of water spots to get started. So a lot of people have problems with revenue, with money. However, the new updates, how do I get back to my town? There we go. The new updates give you I believe a store right away. Since the the crash and some of the drawbacks and some of the communications and some of the ideas. They're giving people free stores, so you get a store right away as part of your town when you first set up. But they won't have, the deserts will not have a lot of these ponds that are available. You'll have to buy them and set them up, the water sources, if that's what you want. So as you can see, everything's pretty much on the sidelines. The only way to make this better is to take out the roads. And I've noticed a lot of the grape farms, they have a lot more fields and they don't have any roads. So everything's pretty much a field. And they don't have a lot of other things, stores or businesses, buildings, windmills. So we'll look into that because I already set this up. I already purchased this once and I had to sell it when I ran out of money and I collapsed my town almost in on itself and I was running out of funds. This was back in the day when I had 8 million, if that. Now I have 185 million worth and I'm waiting for this to open up. So hopefully within the next month, this opens up. Coming soon. It keeps saying coming soon. I've been looking at trying to purchase towncoin. I still have not been able to purchase towncoin from other servers, OKCoin or anything else. It doesn't show up on some of those Uniswaps or anything for me. So I don't know if it's my problem. I watch a lot of videos, tutorials on how to get towncoin, on how to create a better Gala power for more reward for your buck, bang for your buck. So I get 11 towncoin right now every day, but I'm surpassing that 45,000. So if I was to get if I was able to level up to levels, I would receive more towncoin. So that's where the investment comes in. But there's a lot of things on the table for Gala games. Walking Dead possibly coming out end of this year. Snoop Doggy Dogg just coming out with the music, opening music on this platform. So we're still at 9.45, and like I said, this is going to come down. I'm not too worried. The biggest thing for me is that I look at the numbers, and when I don't, like the last few days, a couple days ago, I didn't look at the numbers. I wasn't tracking the numbers. I was just looking at productivity. And that's a dangerous thing because I don't know what's real and what's not. So if I'm not comparing these numbers on the side to actual numbers that I have in my database, it's not accurate. And when I look and compare, I can say, okay, that's not too bad. But when I look at, oh, I'm missing cakes, I'm not producing enough cakes, or I'm not producing enough milk, eggs. Usually for me, it's the eggs and the milk. So in that way, I have to create more wheat, or I have to turn down one of these, turn off one of these. I have to add another wheat field, take out a wheat field. I had sugarcane over here. I took out the sugarcane. This is all back to salt again. And we're going to see how well the salt takes on this. So right now I have 8 salt, 2 cakes, 1 egg, 1 flour, and what I like to see here is sugar and flour and salt and milk and eggs. That's the hardest thing to do, is get everything over here on the corner. That's when you know you kind of have a good flow. But right now, like I said, it's just starting back up. They're starting things up, and they just shipped out 10 cakes. So it doesn't look like it could look, and these could get backed up. Let's see how this is going. So 12, we're looking at 11 salt, 3, 4 wheat, and this is how you can gauge it. This is how I gauge it. So 15, how this flows. Zoom in a little bit. 12, so definitely enough salt, right? So one of two things has to happen. I either take out a salt, remove a salt, or add another salt. So I have enough salt here being produced. So I look at those comparisons and I say, okay, how many windmills are creating salt? And we'll just turn this up to high again. I double click it because sometimes on the single click it doesn't change over to high resolution. So, and it still didn't look like it changed. Let's go back. All right. So we got windmills, sugar, flour, salt. And then the question would be, if I change these, which salt would I change, right? Because I have 10 salts. So changing it from the front or the back of the windmill of the silo would change the time for all those, for the production. So if I was to change the salt, where would I convert the salt into, say, sugar or flour? Because I have sugar in reserve, and then I have some wheat in reserve that I could change into flour. So there's sugar, flour, sugar, sugar, flour, flour, sugar, salt. There's a salt. There's a salt. Salt. So there's 3 salts, 4 salts, 5 salts, and there's one here. There's one close, one near, a couple close, and then there's 3 near, and then there's some far too, right? So these will take far longer to get. These will not have as dramatic effect. So 1 salt, 2 salts, 3 salts back there. And you got full of lumber, so that's what the script is good for. I don't have to keep monitoring every little piece. I can let the workers do that, and all the workers were doing were, this is full, and they were looking, all those lumberjacks are doing is going back and forth, chopping down wood, going back and forth, and that's their job. They're doing their job, and they're going back and forth, and they're hauling that to wherever it's needed. If it's not needed at the chicken coop, they go to the next spot, and they'll walk around aimlessly until they find a spot to put it. And since he's one of the spots to go, he needs 4 wood. They should eventually come back here once they fill up all the windmills. They should eventually come back down here, and then he'll sell 20 once he makes 20 lumber, as you just saw. So it's a assembly line that keeps on going, that I kind of enjoy having, especially if I want to make some construction projects or change a few things. Like I've thought about these two, taking these out, taking this one out and removing it and putting something else in the works. But see them, there they go, boom. And they're pretty much full. He's making some. Look at that, boom. So by the time they're walking around, he's going to make that. And they may just come straight back and drop off 4 more. So he's made lumber in about 9 seconds. He made some lumber. And look at that, they're coming right back. We'll watch out where they go. And are they going to get the message to come back down here? Or are they going to drop it off over here? They're getting closer and closer. I just want to see if they're going to drop it off there. So far it's been running for days and days, and they haven't messed up, and they haven't put it in the lumber yard, or they could. So they're going back here, putting it up here. And he's going to go back here and wait, because there's no wood, right? So he's going to come back here and wait for them to drop off his wood. That's a pretty nice system that's set up. I like that. I just figured that out by complete accident, complete mistake. And I really enjoy them not going to sleep and working and having that secondary kind of operation to put, they don't have to put it in here and then dump the wood and throw away the wood. He can make use of the lumber, of the wood, make lumber, and then we can make profit out of that. So are they eventually going to, the cows are being produced, so we're back down to 9 cakes. So as you can see here on the side, 12 salt, 2 cakes. So this is a gauge, 11 salt in the silo. So we still have that issue with the salt in the silo. So going back to that, if you want to change it, and this is one thing, so if you wait, it might balance itself out before making a change. And the thing here about doing is getting an idea of where you want to make it, right? We're at about 29 minutes, so a couple more minutes and we'll end this for the day, for this time. So the biggest thing is just having an idea of where you want to do it. This one, if you take this salt out and change it, this is going to have huge effects on your output. Say you only make 1 or 2, but I make 11, so this one could actually help in the long run. But if you take one from back here and you convert one back here, it's not going to have as much of an effect on the salt output, complete output, as it would if you take this one out. Because this one can produce probably 1 to 3 or 3 to 1. So this one can take salt 3 times as fast as one back here. That's just a guesstimate. That's not complete science. But it's what I kind of go off of. So this one is right away. You know, it's like a fast food superfood. So if you want your food right away within 5 minutes, you go to this one. If you want it within 10 minutes, you go back here. If you want it within 20 to 30 minutes, you go back here. So that's kind of how I do it. I didn't check these. Yes, I did. Sugars. So the biggest thing is trying to figure out, get in the mindset like, okay, this is, I don't want it here, or I do want it here. There's 10 salts. That might take me down to having 2 to 3 salts in the long term. So I would definitely think, I start out in the back now, and then I work my way forward. So if the back one is good, I'll change out one of the back ones, and then I'll transfer. If that works, I'll gauge it off of that. So it's not such a huge effect. So I think if I was to change one, it would be back here. This one might give it 2 to 3 less. I have too much salt, so that's the thing. But right now it's kind of balanced out. And the salt is one of those things where I've been battling with salt too, because there's not much salt, but this one is really nice where it only takes a few seconds for some. 41 seconds, 1 minute, 17 seconds, 27 seconds. So it comes up really fast. So the thing is, what do I need more of? And when you're doing your town, this is kind of what you're looking at. You just kind of look at the flow, and you can get really, really caught up into this chaos right here. If you're looking at all of this going back and forth, the people going to their jobs and trying to get into the little bits. But if you're looking over here on the sides, it's a little bit easier, and it kind of tells you the tale. And then if you take a break, give yourself breaks. Like I said, this is going to be a short video. It is a short video. Going to lunch in a little bit, and I just want to publish this and post this as an update. So if I was to change any salt, that's a hard one to call, because I can either take out a salt field. I have plenty of salt, and what I want, the reason that you want to do this is because I want more flour possibly, and I want more sugar, because my sugar should definitely be up there. So I might just do that because I want more sugar than I have salt. And salt is definitely the thing right now, because the reason you want sugar for a cake farm is that the cakeries, where's my cakery? This guy, take 10 sugar by itself. So every time, that's a long time to make, especially with the batter. But these guys also take a sugar, the butter. This one's taking a sugar, and this one just made a butter. So your sugar gets used quite a bit. And then the flour. So as it's balancing itself out, it looks like salt is still loaded up in the silos quite a bit. And I have enough salt on reserve, so I would say that creating more sugar right now looks like, and that's where it looks like. It doesn't mean it actually is. So when I go back and look at the numbers, it may reflect something completely different. As you can see, as we talked in a little bit, it filled up that one time to 20. It hasn't filled up again. Oh, there we go. It filled up briefly. And we want to make sure that those numbers don't go too high up. So 16 salt, 17 salt. That could be, it looks like this is pretty good. 8 is pretty good. So the production of salt is good. You know, this is generally what happens when you look at this. So 34 minutes. Like I said, I don't spend all day doing this. I actually completed about 4 projects, 5 projects, maybe half a dozen projects in the last couple days. And I looked at this, you know, along with going to the beach, I looked at this an hour maybe, and I let it run itself. So I just checked in every once in a while, making sure that the fuel was good. This is the most time I've spent looking at this, and days to make sure, and that's only because, like I said, I've reached the plateau. This is where we're all pretty much even. We're all pretty much at the same plateau where we're making 390. So I'm still 300,000, less than 300,000. I keep on pushing those buttons. So I have a nice cushion between me and Lexley, whoever Lexley is. I have a nice cushion, so I don't have to worry about him or her too bad right now, and I'm about halfway in between. So this person's about halfway in between. This person is about halfway in between. As you can see, everyone's about halfway in between. About 2 to 300. This one's pretty close, about 100,000. And about 100,000. So they're all relatively close. So I'll hold off on changing anything. I'm going to come back. There's 12 salt because I don't want to do anything drastic. There's 8 salt left, 2 sugars, and now we're up to 4 sugars. So just looking at that, now I'm increasing time, and that could have been because I just made a cake. So the sugars weren't able to get built back up, and the cakery took all the sugars. So we're going to see how this goes in the next time. But we have 16 days. So enjoy this. Hopefully there's no glitches. There hasn't been too many big glitches that I've noticed since the beginning of this in the last season, the last end of the last town. So hopefully this all works well. If you have any questions, like I said, like, subscribe, and comment. You can find me on YouTube. This will be posted on the YouTube channels, some other sites as well. And God bless. Enjoy the town.